Welcome back to another New World video. This time we've got the Tempest Heart Expedition Guide, the 2023 edition. It's going to be a lot faster paced. I'm going to keep the footage to around about 15-16 minutes for all of these guide videos, or shorter when it's a really short dungeon. With the footage comes from me playing as a tank POV, and we recorded this I think when we were running a Twitch run yesterday, I think. So yeah, if you ever want to come and watch me live on Twitch, feel free. Most of the time I'll play as the tanks. If you want to pop into the chat and ask any kind of questions, you can do. Sometimes you'll find me playing light melee DPS because that's just incredibly fun at the minute, like 5-con builds and stuff like that. Even some light tanking as well, so you can come and check that out. So yeah, I'll leave my Twitch link down below if you want to come over there. The footage, like I said, is an M10 run that we do here, but you can use this as a guide for normal Tempest runs or M1 all the way up to M10. Just kind of ignore the actual mutation at the time, but the actual run and the strategies and the mechanics of all the bosses and stuff all works the same. You can follow this sort of like as is. If you like the content and you want to be an absolute legend, then drop me a subscription. That'd be amazing, and a like on the videos, all that kind of things. And yeah, let's get into the guide, and hopefully this will help you out. Right, here we go, straight into the guide video. So obviously I'm leading here the POV sort of tank. We're gonna basically just tap these two mobs as we go through, trying to avoid all the heavy hits. As you can see, the DPS and the heal are just going to give that extra second or two behind me just to make sure they don't take any of the aggro, because some of these mobs we're not actually hitting, so you do temporarily sort of gain the aggro. But obviously healers and DPS, if they tap them, they'll pick up that until they get around here. We're going to run straight to this archer here, as you can see, and then we're going to group up all the mobs. We're going to be spamming our CCs, spamming our taunts, all that kind of thing, but you're grouping every single mob you've seen all together here. DPS want to make sure that you're attacking from the back. Just be careful those minis coming in late, and literally just do as you've seen there. Once you've cleared out those mobs, you want to get a range player to pick up the boss here. Here he comes, and you might pick up one or two extra mobs like the mage. You're going to pull them down to the stairs area and then basically just take them out. Mechanics wise, just watch out for those big heavy attacks. All of the sword guys in here, they're all the same. Once you've took those out, the tank needs to go in first here. Grab as much aggro as you possibly can. Healers staying back a little bit, dropping the sacred ground, and your 3 DPS need to go and jump straight in the middle there, and you can gather all 3 orbs, the corners if you like of the orbs, from that central position, even the back ones. You're going to close down the first wave. Once that first wave closes and it reveals the carpus in behind, I'm a bit late to doing it here because all these mobs will come an extra spawn. Tank runs in, pulls all the aggro that they possibly can, and then you just leave the DPS to take down the carpus, and it'll close down the portal. So key here for the tank is to just pick up as much aggro as possible, healer to spam the heals, and DPS to basically just focus on the carpus in the middle. Take it down, and then it'll unlock the portal. You don't need to kill every single mob in here, and you don't need to kill all the mages. So once you've done that bit like we've done there, you can basically clear off and run through to the next room. Right, you carry on running here. You get to the tendril situation. You can skip these tendrils if for whatever reason you need to kill them. Feel free. If you are, centrally stand where I am there, and then just use your defiant stance to pull the aggro onto you, and the DPS can hit the tendrils from behind and take no DPS. However, the better strategy that we now use is this one. A little bit tricky, as you can see, but essentially tank leads. You want to drop 1 or 2 skills here just to grab the aggro. So there you go, and you've got a platinum on the right hand side over there in case you're in a mutation run and you need to pick those up. You're going to take these all the way until the next spawn point, so it can be a little bit tricky, so manage your stamina. You don't want to get exhausted. And as we take them all the way around this corner, like a perfect pull would be to take them right into the back, which I don't quite do on this run, but we take them back far enough. All the mobs will come here apart from the range. You'll leave 1 or 2 mages and the arrow guy right at the back, which we'll take out later. You pull them all into this little circle here. It's an enclosed space, which means it's a lot easier to group them up and fight. Healer obviously spam the heals and try and stay at the back with no aggro. And then basically, yeah, you just group them all up. Towards the end, you'll just pop out here. If these guys, the range ones, don't come around the corner, you can just pop out there and finish those off. Again, it's the mechanics wise, you know, the mages are all the same. The acolytes, they just fire you at ranged. Elemental aversion is a decent perk to use here if you've got that on any of your gear. All the other mobs are pretty standard. Now as we come into the next room, best thing for the tank to do, on this occasion our DPS went in a bit too quick there, but the tank goes in, basically 2 taps the tendril, so you take all the aggro, and then the DPS can just fully DPS it. But to speed things up a little bit, you can then run into this room. As you trigger the little section here, you'll see all the mobs start to spawn, and you want to pull them all into the center. A Gravwell's pretty good here, your Shockwave's good here, all that kind of stuff. Enfeebling Maelstrom, if you've got those, you know, pull them all together. Second wave, you want to pull them all to this archer here that spawns sort of near this little tree section here. You want to group them all up again. It's all basic mechanics, you know what I mean? DPS, make sure you're staying at the back of the mobs. Tank, just do as much DPS as you can to keep all that aggro. Now, third wave, similar again. This time you got the big axe guy, who takes quite a lot. You got the sword and shield guy, and then you got the sword and shield sort of mini elite boss that you need to fight as well. But it's pretty similar. You want to group them all together. Grab well if you can. Maelstrom, pull them in even better. And you can use the great sword ability as well to sort of pull them in if you're in the onslaught stance. And it's pretty simple. Like, there's not too much mechanics that we want to run over here for the simple mobs. We want to save that for like down here with the Sprigan boss. Now, some people like to pull the mobs over this bridge, which you can do. You can pull 1 or 2 ranged and fight them on that bridge if you like. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab the aggro of as many of these as I can, like the boss, and then 1 or 2 of the minis. That should leave the DPS to just take down and kill those other sort of mini mobs you can see just to our left hand side of the screen there, leaving me with 2 or 3 of them and the big boss. Essentially just staying alive here, and we're not going to do too much damage to the Sprigan. Bear in mind, with this footage coming from a mutation run as well, everything pretty much heals itself with the vampiric. In a normal Tempest run, that won't happen, so your DPS is faster. Now, we're going to pull the Sprigan right into this corner. Now, this corner, if you don't know where this is, it's just below the stairs, okay? Stairs is just behind me where the camera's... There we go, stairs is there. Now, it's a lot easier to fight in this corner, and it's a lot harder for the Sprigan to actually hit most of the DPS, but essentially all these big swipes that he does, the big swipe, you see those kind of like maneuvers he's doing there? You should be able to see them coming, plus the big jumps as well. Every time he's about to land a big jump or a big hit, if you're one of the DPS players, all you need to do is be rolling around. If you're light, obviously, as well, you should be dodging all of those. Don't be taking any damage. Now, if you're really, really worried, one strategy you can do, all DPS, like if you're first time in Tempest, all DPS there, just go ranged. Really, really simple. Throwing hatchets, bows, stuff like that. Just go ranged and you won't take any damage. Tank can sit in the corner, keeping the aggro, and the healer can just heal. We're going to take this path up here. You don't need to kill these mobs if you don't want to. I'm just kind of highlighting this for you. There you go. You're going to grab that gatherable there. In this next room is where we get the key. And we're going to group up the mobs. Now, these are the same as the ones in Dynasty. So all you need to do is the tank, for example, is make sure you're tanking the biggest, the high maiden. You want to tank her facing away from the rest of the mobs because she does the big dragon attack. This one here, the flame one, that's pretty much the only skill you need to be really, really worried about. She has some other skills like the purple circle. Make sure you stand out of that. Obviously, if she pops that, but if your DPS is fast enough, essentially all you're doing there, grouping them 3 together, DPS them as fast as you can, and don't stand on the tank side because the maiden there will hit you with that dragon fire. So it's the dragon fire and it's the mini pink circle, same as the dynasty mobs that you fight after you blow up the gate. Now we come on to VROEG. Sorry, I can't really say these guys' names. This guy is really simple. You want to do big heavy attacks. So if you've got great sword players, sword players, great axe players, warhammer players, big heavy attacks, he's got a stamina bar. See that there? You want to knock him down, then he won't do any damage to you whatsoever, and you can just do full-blown DPS. That's the mechanic there for that one. You got an orichalcum in the background as well. These 2 muskets again can be skipped. You don't need to fight those, and you've got an orichalcum here that you can pick up as well. As we go up that path, you're going to stick to the right hand side and then come down here. We're going to head all the way down. Another little mini gatherable you can collect there. We're going to bring the dog in, the sentry, 2 sentries, sorry, or entities, should we say. We're going to take those over to ALVARO. Similar here again, no crazy mechanics to look out for. He's just got a swinging axe, so be careful there. You see that big swinging axe attack? Axe attack. That's the only kind of mechanic that you need to be worried about here. But basically, yeah, group them up again. You're starting to see the S&C now. This is where it can get a little bit different. Okay, now you can either fight these guys in this room if this is one of your first ever runs. It's similar to the fight we've just shown you, so there's no crazy mechanics to show you there. As you run into this next room, though, we're going to pull all these mobs up, and then the second strategy you can do is as you get to this respawn shrine right there in the blue, you can group them all up here and fight them all as a group. Same mechanics that we've been showing you all day. We'll come in with like a shockwave, pull them all together with the gravwells, and kill them. When you're running for score or speed, you can skip these. So that's just what we're doing on this run. But yeah, mechanics wise there, you can fight them all in that shrine, and that's probably the best place to go. We then come on to Isabella. You want to look out for the word when she says the word war, and then that's when you know to start, as the tank, start hitting her. Massive DPS, same as the Isabella fight in Dynasty as well, which is a bit of a shame. It's basically the exact same fight. Big heavy attacks that she does there, and the shooting of the weapons and the big slash attacks. You need to be watching out for those. Make sure all DPS are doing pure backstab damage, and every time you can see her teeing up with the sword, that's when you jolt back if you need, and just to make sure you don't take any damage there. Now at this point, we're going to send 2 DPS players off to the right, as you've just seen there. They're going to go and kill the range players. You got some muskets and some bows, and then you're going to have 1 DPS, the healer and the tank, jump on the mage boss here, and we're going to pull in. She's going to keep repeatedly spawning dogs. You don't want to focus on the dogs too much. You want to focus on the mage boss and then the 2 sword and shield guys. You want to take those out first, because if you just repeatedly hit the dogs, she's going to keep spawning the dogs, and you need to take her down faster than the dogs, which will then disappear. So make sure you're doing that. So it is key that you send 2 DPS players off to the right hand side as we ran in, and they can also get the gatherables up top as well. Into this next room, you can kill this guy if you like, or bring him in as we did here. The next fight with Isabella is similar. You need to take her down another couple of bars of health. The 2 acolytes that spawn there, the cultists either side, you need to kill those as the DPS place as quickly as possible. They empower Isabella and make her do more damage whilst they're alive. As you can see here, she's going to do a lot of damage until those cultists are down. The mini axe guys from the previous room, we just pulled them in. You can kill them if you like, if it's more comfortable. Same Isabella strats as well. All DPS stand behind her. Watch out for them big heavy pistol moves and the big swirling slashes. You fought in Dynasty before. This might be your 2nd or 3rd run, for example, in Tempest, so the mechanics are all the same. So we're going to head up here. This is one of the best views in the whole dungeon just there. Now, you've got a choppable tree just to our right there next to the respawn shrine, and you've also got a platinum here as well, which you can pick up along the way. And as we go down here, just after the platinum, you want to stick this right-hand side. Now, you can pull all the mobs in if you're looking for mob count, if you're in a mutation. If you're in a normal Tempest run, you can either just fight those mobs right at the back or skip. Best person to go first here is the tank. Take the DPS from the beam here, as you can see, because it hurts you less. Gather up all the mobs, and then one person jumps on the guns and shoots down the skeleton's eyes. Okay, you can aim for the eyes and the head, and that'll take it down. I would advise now your weakest DPS player to pick up this, as you can see, this big orb here carrying through. Similar to like how you have in Genesis or in the Starstone. One player needs to carry the orb all the way through. There's not much to show you there. That's why we're skipping quite a through bit. But I go with the lowest DPS player there. Now we're on to the mage, mini build boss here. Gather them all up again. Same sort of fight. And again, not too much to show you. Now, as we run through these alleyways, if you're in a normal Tempest run, you don't need to kill any of these mobs other than the 3 mages. If you're on a mutation run, you might want to gather up a few mobs. We enter this room now. This huge orb place in the center. I think there's 5 mages, as you can see, with little beams. All you need to kill is the mages, the priests here. And then that will unlock the beam that's in the middle, which will then not kill you. If that orb reaches you, because it'll spread outwards, your DPS is too slow, that will kill you. So make sure you're taking down those 5 priests, I think it might be 4, as quickly as possible. Now we go into this next room very slowly, as you can see here. Now this is like a big sword tanky sort of mini boss. Okay, Headman Pang, you do not need to kill him again. You can skip past. If you need the loot, feel free to stop and kill him. If you're on a bit more of a faster run, there you go. Now on to NEISHATUN. Here's where most people struggle as usual. We have an updated 2023 mechanic here compared to the last guide that we've been doing. So in this little first phase, you're gonna do as much damage as you possibly can. You need to watch out for all of his big heavy attacks. If you're one of the light DPS players, I'd advise saving all of your stamina when he tees up for a big swirl like that one there, and you want to just dodge. If you dodge at the right time, you won't take no damage. Watch out for NEISHATUN's bow. He/she will aim the bow just like that. Big heavy attacks. If you get that corruption sign above your head, even though the tank has aggro, you know she's aiming for you. Get ready to dodge out the way. Some big bow attacks there. Okay, so you need to be looking at the boss, especially if you're ranged here, like our healer. You need to keep an eye out. Now we go into sort of like phase 2, if you like. This is the easy part. There's a bunch of rings spawning with fire, but there's no mini mobs, so you just get to chill, run around. This will happen 3 or 4 times. As you can see, it's really easy, this phase. It's not very hard at all. You get loads of open space. It's like a practice warm-up. Boss is going to come back up. As soon as the boss comes up, if you're not really close to NEISHATUN, she'll run at you with a big heavy attack like this. So make sure DPS players, you don't stand next to the tank at that point. And you can see here, big heavy attacks again. If you get a corruption sign, the big orange sign above your head, you know you're at the target. And now the portals are up. The portal's just behind us. You want to send 2 DPS players at the portal, and everybody else can spam full damage to the NEISHATUN, the boss. Any mini fire circles you see on the floor, unless you're the tank, dodge out of those. If you're the tank, just hold your shield up and it'll do no damage. Now, here's the updated strategy. See where that mini mob just spawned out the ground? When you get the next wave of circles, that's the area that's going to be safe. It's not about keeping it alive. It's about going to the area where it spawned there. See there in the background? We now know in the next phase, that will be a little area that'll definitely be safe. One has just spawned on this area. On this next wave, boom, this area is safe. See here on our left now how the mini has just spawned again. In the next wave, which is coming up now, boom, it's safe. You see, that's what it is. It's not about keeping the mob alive. You can kill the mob every time. Just watch where it spawns from and then run to that location for the next wave, okay? That's the best way. That's the strat right there. It doesn't get any easier or better than that. But this occasion now, we're on to the 4th phase, if you like. And more portals are coming up again. Just send 2 DPS players there. If your DPS is really, really good at this point now, you can forget this portal. That's going to explode. And you can go straight onto the boss. I wouldn't advise that unless your DPS is really good. If you want to know what happens when you're in any of these red circles, when they explode, you get a tick of burn. If you look down on my bottom bar, I got 2 ticks of burn. Once you get to 4 or 5, you basically die so fast the sacred ground can't keep up. You don't want to get more than 1 or 2 ticks of burn. So make sure you're not standing in those big red circles as they're exploding. And if the orb explodes as well, everybody gets a tick of burn. So you need to be taking down the orbs as quickly as you can and not standing in these big red circles as they explode. That's NEISHATUN. You might want to watch that 1 or twice, or take on the my longer guide if you like. But you can check that out as well. I'll put it in the description down below. And here we go on to ISABELLA. Okay, so ISABELLA, nice and simple to start off with. If you're a light DPS, be careful. She has loads of swinging attacks. That's more of a ranged attack that'll slowly go. You can dodge through it, as you can see our healer did there. Big heavy attacks coming in. You need to be blocking these if you're the tank, and if you're the light players, you just need to be dodging through it, or you can do little mini blocks depending on what weapons you've got. Try your best to keep ISABELLA facing one way. She will still slash and do AoE damage. You need to be really careful. When she goes into this flight mode here, as you can see, once you get that logo above your head, you know she's coming for you, so you need to dodge. The final swipe she will do will always be on the tank, whoever's got the aggro. So just bear in mind, tank, you might get 2 attempts there, so be careful. Do not stand, if you look around the map here, do not stand in any of these sort of black puddles, mini lakes, if you want to call them that. See the one to the left there, one over far on the right. If you stand in that, you'll die. Okay, make sure you stay away. You only want to stand on these big platform areas. You want to be trying to do maximum DPS, of course. And once ISABELLA gets to about 3 bars, she opens up this portal in the background. Now, what that means is when the portal is active, she's now empowered. She's doing more damage to your group. You see the little power black logo above her head? So you got 2 options. If your DPS is really good, ignore that portal and do maximum DPS and then kill ISABELLA. If your DPS is not very good here, once the big swirls from that portal in the background there disappear, you can send 1 player over and they press E like they can do now, and it'll close down the portal. They could like hold the portal down, right? And then that'll remove the empower. If your DPS is really slow, not only will she make that 1 tower pop up, she'll then make another tower pop up on the other side, and that empower will stack. If you get to 2 towers, it could be game over. Okay, so you need to be careful. So the biggest mechanics here is don't stand in the big pools. Be wary of that empower orb, shrine, whatever you want to call it, that you've seen pop up. And obviously, of course, keep in mind she has all these big swirling heavy attacks and slash damage attacks, so be careful of those. As you can see here, this is how the run went. Not too bad. You know, there or thereabouts, that was okay. No respawn. Right, there it is. So yeah, the guide video done. Like I said, I kept that footage around about 15-16 minutes. So hopefully you enjoyed it. If it was really helpful for you and all that kind of stuff, you know, like I said, drop a sub. Right, there we go, guide over. Hopefully that helped you out. Like I said, I've added all the updated mechanics in there, especially that little NEISHATUN bit in there. That really does help, so you know exactly where to go when the sort of the rings of fire are popping up. That's definitely going to help in this updated guide version. If you like this kind of content, guys, just drop a sub. That'll be amazing. Likes on the video, comment section down below if you want to know any more videos, you know, any more guide videos. We've got more prepped and coming up, and hopefully with some of the new world updates that are coming out in the next couple of weeks and months, there should be a lot more videos. And again, guys, yeah, if you want to be an absolute legend, check out my Twitch as well. We're live Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Occasionally we'll drop in a Friday or Wednesday stream, but we're always live on those 4 days. I'll leave my link down below, and then obviously down here. If you want to go head over there and follow and jump in the next stream, that'll be amazing. And yeah, I'll see you in the next guide video.